Good evening, good afternoon. This is Brother JT Thomas, 4th District Director of Public Relations, here with Brother Tony Betts, our scholarship chair. How you doing, Brother Betts?
I'm good. I'm good, bro. Always good to chop it up with the good 95 bros.
Good to hear you. Bruh, so I just wanted to get on here, team, and just talk to you about the 4th District and our scholarship committee, and if you could share with us a little bit about our scholarship committee and how you go about how does one go about attaining a scholarship from Omega Psi Phi.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I appreciate the question, bro. And I think the first thing is the scholarship is really, part of what I consider a three-legged stool, right? And, so fundamentally, scholarship is a part of what we would consider undergrad development. And, a portion of undergrad development is really making sure that we reward and recognize those brothers that have scholastic achievement. And what we mean by scholastic achievement is we've got the Omega Honor Society here in the 4th D. So every brother that is has a GPA, a cumulative GPA of 3.0 or better, gets inducted into the Omega Honor Society, right? Which is a pretty significant recognition, right? That we do annually. And then coupled with that, every brother has the opportunity with a certain GPA to apply for, monetary dollars in terms of scholarship to help, with their college education and the expenses associated with college, right? And so every year we look forward to, really helping the brothers out. And the 4th District is really one aspect of the overall scholarship program. The actual scholarship program is, kind of sponsored out of IHQ, and it's a part of what's called the Charles R. Drew Scholarship Foundation or Scholarship Commission rather. And so as a function of that, every district scholarship winner has the opportunity to go on and compete for international awards as well. And some of these awards can be pretty substantial in terms of, the amount of money that an individual can receive to aid in their financial, expenses associated with college, right? So that's sort of how we are thinking about the scholarship program a bit more holistically.
So, brother, I heard you mention it's for undergrad. So, just so our public are aware, you have to be a member of Omega Psi Phi to apply for these scholarships, correct?
That is correct. And so I will maybe clarify one point there, Brother Thomas. And so we've got both undergraduate and graduate scholarships. And you do have to be a brother of Omega Psi Phi to apply for both the undergraduate and graduate scholarship at the district level, and coupled with that for the international headquarters as well.
Okay, and for those who don't know, the 4th District is comprised of the state of West Virginia and the state of Ohio. So those are all institutions that had the potential to potentially get a scholarship. Usually, those students who are associated with a university within the state of Ohio and West Virginia.
Absolutely.
Brother Betts, in the last couple of years, can you kind of give us a roundabout number of how many scholarships we've given out, maybe in the last 5 or 10 years?
Yeah. So every year we give away. So the way that the scholarships work is really centered around from a district level, centered around the budget allocation, right? And so we've had increasing budget over the course of the last couple of years, and so effectively we give away 1 to 2 scholarships for undergrads, and then a scholarship for a graduate brother on an annual basis. In addition to that, there's also, chapter recognition for those chapters that have the highest GPA, right? And so there's some monetary compensation associated with chapters, really making sure that they achieve that scholastic achievement, right? And high GPAs across the brothers on the yard, right? And so, to answer your question directly, Brother Thomas, so think about every year over the last 5 years, there have been a minimum of 1 scholarship, and in some cases we've given 2. And so every year there's what we consider the district scholar of the year, and then we've recently introduced a leadership award as well, right? So that we can give out more monies to the brotherhood on the local level. Now, beyond, again, the 4th District, even if you are not a district scholar, the brothers have the opportunity to apply for 15 scholarships via the Charles R. Drew Scholarship Commission, right? And these have, varying criteria that are associated with them. But effectively, there are 15 awards that range in amounts from, $1,000 to up to about $10,000, right? In terms of award that brothers can apply for, based on the merit and based on the criteria associated with those 15 awards.
Brother Bet, that really speaks to the core principles of Omega Psi Phi, and it kind of, shares with the public and for our brotherhood that we really take scholarship as one of our pillars to heart. We really put our money where our mouths are. Um,
Indeed.
you mentioned the Fourth District Honor Society. Now, that's not something that is done in every district. But can you tell us a little bit more about the Scholarship Society, when it was established, or any information that's pertinent to the Honor Society?
Yeah. So the Omega Honor Society was actually established, and I don't know the actual date of when the Honor Society was established, but Brother Chris Welch, former DR, Brother Chris Welch, was the catalyst for the Omega Honor Society, and it's really a recognition specifically for those brothers that have high academic standing, right? And so we consider high academic standing as those brothers that have a 3.0 or higher GPA, right? And so we want to recognize those brothers on an annual basis. So, the important thing with the Fourth District Honor Society is really making sure that every university, all the students at every university where we have active chapters submits their grade reports, right? The brother Matthew Coleman this year and myself, right? And we go through and we scrutinize the grade reports and do some level of validation. And those brothers who show up as a 3.0, cumulative GPA are automatically entered into the Omega Honor Society. We have a, sort of a ceremony to induct those brothers into the Honor Society. And then we award them, with certificates and stoles and that kind of thing that they can, display, right? The academic prowess that they've demonstrated and, recognize the hard work that those brothers contributed to their academic careers, over the course of, a school year or an academic year.
So, Brother Best, if you could, it now the function of how a student or Omega Psi Phi member applies for this
Mhm.
scholarship. Now, is it something that their chapters put together? Is it something that they send to the district, or how does that process work?
Yeah. So I'll break up two components. So we were just talking about the honor society, and so every chapter has to submit a grade report, right, which is a verification of, your academic standing with the university, right? And so we utilize that to determine those brothers that are eligible for the honor society. The individual scholarships are a little bit different, right? So those aren't chapter submissions. That means that the brothers actually have to go and apply to the Charles R. Drew, Scholarship Commission. And based on that application to the Charles R. Drew Scholarship Commission, as a district, we go through as a committee and review those applications. And we decide upon who the district scholar of the year would be, who both undergraduate and graduate. And we decide upon, maybe some of those brothers that are meet the criteria, if you will, for some other awards, although they may not be the quote unquote district scholar of the year. So it's a very individual process, and effectively it means that every brother that meets a criteria, the requirements of a particular scholarship, has the opportunity to apply for any number of the scholarships within the Charles R. Drew Scholarship Commission profile. And the committee, the Fourth District Scholarship Committee, will go through and do some validation and vetting of those scholarships or scholarship applications and put forward the Fourth District Scholar of the Year, who will automatically, sort of also receive the International Fourth District Scholar of the Year as well, which again is a pretty substantial amount of money, right? And then coupled with that, in the Fourth D directly, we also, provide a leadership award as well, right? The dollars amounts typically for the district scholars range anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000. But the scholarships on the international level, again, can go up to $10,000, right? So again, it's I don't know about you, bro, JT, but certainly 10 stacks, when I was in school was a big deal.
Indeed it is. So that's just great incentive for a young person, specifically a member of Omega Psi Phi, to stay engaged in academics. I mean, this
Yeah.
is something that Omega has always put in the forefront when it comes to developing our young men, and to know that our district is consistently working with our population of young men to help them get ahead throughout their whatever they may need with regard to education, specifically when it comes to monetary need.
Indeed.
Brother Betts, if you would, could you just give our undergrads some advice on how to go about uh, making sure that their information is together, the applications are together in preparation to submittal?
Yeah, and so I guess the first thing, bro, is beyond the application. It's really to focus on your coursework, right? And again, we are in school for a reason. So I think the first thing that I would encourage brothers to do is make sure you make the main thing, right? And the main thing is your scholarship, right? At the end of the day. And clearly we want to, grow and develop as, men while we are in school, and it's a, transitional time for us all. But I think the first thing is really make sure that you make the main thing, and that you focus on why you are there, right? That's probably number one. And so assuming that you've got that focus, and again, you meet the criteria of 3.0 or better, and we want all the brotherhood to excel academically, right? We excel in so many other things. There's a famous quote that says there's a place for mediocrity in our society, but not in Omega, right? And so excellence is kind of the word of the day, and we want our brothers to exhibit excellence in all aspects of what we do, to be those quote unquote 360-degree cubes, right? Which is what we are, men of exemplary caliber and exceptional skill, right? And so, with that, as you are applying for the application, the first thing that as a chapter you have to do is really ensure that you've got your grade reports in, right? And so the grade reports are typically due, in January, immediately following the fall semester. And so we will utilize the fall semester of the previous year and the spring semester of the previous year as the academic period of which we evaluate, right? And the awards will be given at our district meeting. So effectively, it's really one, ensuring that you hit the dates associated with January. Typically, it's around January 15th, where you have to have those submissions in, right? So make sure that you do that. The second thing that I would encourage brothers to do is go to the omegasoft.oppf.org and search for the Charles R. Drew Scholarship Foundation. And on that page, what you'll find is a listing or a brochure of all the scholarships that are available. I would encourage the brothers to peruse those scholarships and see what they qualify for. Some of them are 3.0, some of them are 3.3, some of them are 3.5, some are associated with specific majors. I might be in the religious field or a STEM field or medicine or whatever the case might be, but there's virtually something for everybody there, right? And so at that point, once you've got your grade reports in, start your application process directly. And once you start that application process, I am personally happy to, kind of, help review those applications before, brothers submit those, et cetera, to give you pointers and those kind of things. And sort of keep in mind that in addition to just the application, you also have to have a couple of letters of recommendation for most of these scholarships, and you have to have an active transcript. So don't wait till the last minute to secure your letters of recommendation and your transcript. And typically for us, we will have a date around the end of March where all of these scholarship applications are due, such that we can, do the announcements of the awardees at our district meeting in April. So effectively, Brother Thomas, I think it's really just going to the Charles R. Drew Scholarship Foundation's Commission's website, downloading the application, ensuring that you've got all of the minimum criteria associated with the scholarship that you're applying for, ensuring that you've got the recommendations and the transcript together, and submitting those before the end of March to myself and the scholarship committee is the way that the brothers would apply.
Brother Bears, I can't thank you enough for just sharing that information, because I'm sure it will help a young person, specifically an Omega man, in his journey to get education. I'm sure I'll have you on again. Hopefully, we can have a former recipient of one of those scholarships to kind of share, how that scholarship impacts their education. We'll always try to do our best to share the positive that goes on in the maker. So, with that, brother Best, I want to thank you for coming on. And again, like I said, I look forward to seeing you in the future, bro.
Indeed, indeed. Again, bro, I appreciate the opportunity to come chat with the brotherhood and share the amazing opportunities that Omega has, right? And so the onus is on us to take advantage of the dollars that are available. And I just would end by encouraging the bros to, reach out directly and certainly apply, right? Because there's money out there to be had. And I know the brotherhood is, certainly eligible, right? And they meet the criteria for many of these awards that are out there. So let's take advantage of the dollars that are available for us.
Alrighty, brother Best. You have a good one, my good brother.
All right, team. Good to chat.
Alrighty.